Welcome into another episode of Discard for Magic. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I'm the other host, James or Jexic, and today we're happy to bring back on Beanseasly.
Hey guys, returning draft champ over here, Beanseasly. Let's just
Was that how it did? Did you win one?
in the heart of the champion, you always win.
So today we're going to do another draft. We're going to be drafting entire factions based on fun. So which ones we think are the most fun. There's 30 factions out now, so by the time we've each drafted our top 10, there will be all 30 factions represented.
Every faction.
Yeah, 10, 10, and 10, no honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Every faction you want will end up on James' list.
For real. We're just going based off of fun, right? We're not doing based off of, power. We're not going based off of art or anything like this. It's just...
I mean, those things can play a factor in your fun. Like if you enjoy the art or if you enjoy like winning with them could play a part. But yeah, it's just fun.
And so this will be the objective lists exclusively. And yeah, I'm excited.
And we're all going to get the exact 10 factions that we want.
For some reason, I doubt that. I feel like there's going to be fights for some. Aaron, randomize this ahead of time. I'm going to be first, then Aaron, then Bean. We'll do a snake draft like before, where the person who goes third goes twice in a row, and so on, going back and forth.
So let's have you start us off, James.
Yeah, I got the first pick, and I know I'm going to surprise a lot of people with this pick. Actually, I'm not.
Yeah.
I have to go with the Wayfarers.
What?
I knew that.
Glad I got the first pick. I highly doubt you guys would try to steal it as your first pick, but it's my shtick at this point that Celeste should be the main character of Summoner Wars. She's really cool. She's a lot of fun. I love the fluidity of her movement and being able to just go where you want and travel the world and take out the enemy summoner, which is the goal of the game. Like, it's, oh, she's only good at one thing. Yeah, that's winning when you want, where you want. She's just fun. I mean, I don't always win. In fact, I've already lost against the Vanguards in this live league season. I'm off to a great start.
Wayfarers, great pick. My number 6 on the board. My number 6 ranked prospect.
Yeah, they were pretty high on mine too. They were like 8th for me.
I compare them to tacos because they're just super quick and easy and the comfort
You can
food
only
type
have
of
them
thing.
on Tuesdays?
Yeah. Coming up, Cinco de Mayo coming up.
Yeah, it's on a Tuesday this year.
Mm-hmm. No one is upset about that pick right there. So I think that everyone can agree Wayfarers are pretty fun. Maybe not everyone, but Wayfarers are great, fun, and just bring a lot to this game. So good pick.
Yeah, good start. I'm gonna make some people not angry, but maybe one person angry with my second pick. I'm gonna go a little bit down my list, and I'm gonna take the Mountain Vargrath.
Come on, man.
Because Bean gets 2 picks after me, and I know I'm not going to see him again, and they're pretty high on my list. I had him at number 3 for me, so...
I thought we weren't playing games out here. What's going on?
I knew I wouldn't get another chance at him.
Yeah, well, they were my number 1 ranked prospect. I compared them to the Sun, so you have taken the Sun from my world. I hope you don't feel any guilt about that at all.
I mean, I don't. They're really fun to play. I always enjoy playing them. They have a lot of fun spatial tricks that they can do with like colors and stuff, and I really enjoy the aspects of their game, from the combos to the spatial movements to the ramming advances. It's a fun deck.
I was just playing them today and had a pretty nice game where I was going against Phoenix Elves and just got to go wombo big attack onto Blinding Flare and still did a bunch of damage, so that was pretty nice. That's all thanks to Sunderved and his big ol' attack ability, which is, I think, one of the best in the game. Alright, well, I guess it's over to me. My number 1 off the board. That's okay, I'll take my number 2. This Mount Vargath and then this one here are my 2. I have tiers separated, and it was the sun and the moon. And the moon is the Phoenix Elves. For me.
I figured that'd be high on your list.
You've been playing them a lot lately.
Unlike other people in this draft, I'm just going off of my picks. I'm not playing any games on this draft. So I know you guys won't draft Phoenix Elves, but I don't care. They are just so much fun, and I wasn't super into them at first, and when they first came out, and then they got errataed, and I still didn't really do anything with them, and then kind of rediscovered them later and just realized that I really, really enjoy their ability. I enjoy the like different threats that they can have, and I low-key Maldaria's ability is one of the best summoner abilities of the game, I think. And I think people kind of underestimate that because they just ignore the ability and look at her 9 health. But she's great. Really, really fantastic deck. Very happy. I had a great game today where my gate got completely destroyed and it didn't matter. And that was a cool feeling.
Fire Drake?
I had a Holios out and then summoned a
Nice.
bunch of Ember stuff off of her. Moving on to my next pick. This one here is my number 3, and it might screw you guys, but that's just the game we're playing right now. I'm picking the Goblins of the Cave.
I did have him pretty high.
Yeah, I figured we'd be fighting over that one. They were my
Yeah.
second pick, so yeah.
I think we got 3 of the biggest Cave Goblin lovers in the community in this draft right now.
Yeah, they were a little further down on mine. I think like 6th, but I love some cave goblins.
Yeah, I have them in my comfort food tier, which is they are to me just fries because there's so many of them and they can just kind of you can eat as many as you want. There's tons and tons. So Cave Goblins does like that. There's just so many little guys. They can come from threats all over, and Sneaks again has like an awesome summoner ability. So one of my absolute favorites to play as. Clingers, my number 1 of all units. Cannot complain at all about a Clinger in a deck. James, I will be forever in your debt for creating the Clinger.
It's such a good unit. Back to me with my next pick. I'm going to take one that's pretty close to the top of mine, but I think might be coming around to James if he gets the chance. And I'm going to take the cloaks because, man, are the cloaks a lot of fun. I love all the different copies you can do with Vlox. It's just such a good time to be moto bootsing around and attacking in the move phase and going behind people with dagger and doing all sorts of different fun moves with gunners, and it's a great time.
Yeah, that's a good one. They're not one of my tops. I just can never really get them to click as much as I would like, but like when I see other people doing, I'm like, man, that looks fun. I just wish I could pull off what you're doing there.
Cloaks are super fun. I've got them pretty high on my list. I won't say exactly what number.
Question for you guys. Do you think they are more or less fun since the Mega Machinist has been a little bit nerfed?
More fun, 100%.
I would probably say more fun too. I definitely think they're more interesting.
I think they're more interesting, and then there's a little bit of this fun ranking. We didn't really factor in, or at least I didn't, how fun they are to go against, but I kind of just feel that way about certain factions of like, oh, this is annoying for my opponent to go against. I don't really like playing that way, and Cloaks with the Mega Machinist was that way. This is a little bit frustrating to go against, and I don't like playing them as a result of that. Feeling bad for the other person. I don't know if you guys feel that way at all.
Yeah, I don't mind it as like in some factions, like in Cloaks, if I play a smoke bomb and they have a terrible option as a turn, I don't mind that at all. But
like a one-turn thing.
Yeah.
Out of Shadows is super fun. I mean, it can create some unfun situations where someone's just like locked and stuck. It's just like a really fun thing to try to set up.
Who you got for us next, James?
I'm going to turn up the heat, pick up a couple of fire factions.
A couple fire factions.
Couple of them.
Already one's been taken.
Yeah, but I got different ones. All right.
Fallen King.
The first one is probably not a big surprise since I think I picked first pick Volcanic Blast a while back for events, but I'm going to have to go with the Obsidian Dwarves as my second most fun faction today. It's just fun to blow people up. Like if the Wayfarers are super smooth and easy to move around, the Obsidian Dwarves are just like really clunky, but also really exciting when you can get all the combos off. They're really good at protecting their summoner, you know, with the Ember Guards. It's really not as risky as you might think, especially when you get into willpower and some other stuff. Like I think I don't have as many feel bad moments as I have the feel good moments with the deck, so I like it quite a bit.
I feel like your two ones that you've had so far, Wayfarers and Obsidian Dwarves, are just kind of a, well, I'm going after you. What are you going to do? It's like you have the defined strategy you're going, and you have to force the opponent to kind of bend to your will. And I like that as a like way to play, kind of feel like a boss.
Yeah, so you guys have anything else you want to say about it before I jump to my next pick?
Yeah, I mean, they're a fun faction. They weren't super high on my list because sometimes I just roll really poorly with them and then I have less fun. But, in general, I think they have a lot of fun events. I think they have a lot of fun champs. They can blow up a lot of things.
They used to be really high up for me, like one of the top, and I brought them to a bunch of tournaments and stuff too. But I like stopped playing as them for a little bit, and then tried to get back into them, and kind of like lost the touch. Like I feel like I used to play a lot more aggro, and now I play a little bit more conservative, and it is worsening my Obsidian Dwarf game. So I like yearn for the days of when I used to be better with them. I feel like when I play with them now, and I'm like, I wish I could be as good as I used to be. But
He yearns for the forge.
yeah, the volcano.
So my next one, I gave a little hint. It's gonna be a fire faction. It's the Drake's on Rebellion.
Yeah, I thought
Ooh,
that was gonna be high.
The pitch is easy. It's like you get to ride dragons.
yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want to just like have a bunch of dragons, ride them around, and do cool stuff? Like again, like what we saw at the Wayfarers, they're very fluid in the about kind of movements you can do. Like it's a little trickier because you got to get mount to set up, and sometimes your gates might not be in the right spot or whatever, or you kind of leave somebody out to dry. And but it's just a really fun faction, and also they're kind of champ centric. They have a champion starting on the board, but also early on you can kind of discard some more magic and get even more champions out. They have more champions than any other deck, so that's something I like as well. Getting these cool named guys out there and just like doing cool stuff.
I really like them too, and I've had games where I play all three of their champions, which they're all pretty expensive champions. And so it's kind of, I think that's just a testament to Brimstone being on the board, and you can kind of always get value from that if you keep it alive. But I really like Drexon. I think they can be played crazy aggro, they can be played a little bit more laid back, and then just wait to pounce, which I like to do as well.
I'm gonna be facing Massimo's Drakeson in the live league, and that'll be interesting to see his take on them because he's known for being kind of a keep away sort of player. So it's probably going to be infuriating, but we'll see.
I played as them in Live League one time, and I was going against, I think it was Dark Tomi against Fallen Kingdom, and was just like completely on one side of the board. He blood summoned over there, had Goldas over there, and then Ret Talus was on a complete opposite side of the board. And I was able to move with just Brimstorm and the Pyra, and then use Blazing Speed to move again all the way over there. And then so all of his units were like completely stranded on my side of the thing, and it was just me and Rhett and Brimstorm, and it was the coolest feeling ever to just, you had me on the ropes back there, and now you're way out of the play.
They can have a lot of fun plays. They were towards the middle of my pack, but definitely a fun deck. I really enjoy playing them.
Yeah, they're number 10 for me, so pretty high up.
Back to me, eh? Do I wait any longer?
Oh, to take actually some of your actual favorites?
I've taken my number 2 and my number 3. I just haven't taken my number 1.
He hasn't taken his number 1.
Yeah, and I'm tempted to even wait one more round and give Beans 2 more shots at it, but I'll take them. I'll do it. Twist my arm. I'll do it. I'm gonna take the Swamp Orcs. I have been loving the Swamp Orcs. They are, if you can sense a theme with my decks so far, I like combos. And Swamp Orcs, you can do some fun combos. I actually really bounced off the Swamp Orcs when I first tried to play them, and for the longest time, I didn't like playing them. Part of it, I think, was the very first turn you play with Swamp Orcs. Sometimes can be really, I don't know, it feels bad. Sometimes you just attack with like the 2-ranged Bog Shaman, or sometimes you just do almost like nothing. And that always just felt like, why am I playing this deck? But once I got past that and started playing them more, I really started enjoying like how much dice you can throw with Mug. And you can throw a ton of dice. And there's so much you can do with the Vinemancers and the Champs, and Regen is fun, and Emerge, and all these different aspects that just make the deck really pop. Hey, so yeah, Swamp Orcs, my number 3 deck. Well, number 1 on my list, but the third one I picked.
I was laughing because you said I can give Bean 2 chances at this. You could have given me 28 chances.
I know. I knew you probably weren't going to pick it, but...
Yeah, Swamp Orcs were on like my 18th deck, I think, or so.
Yeah, I know you guys don't like Swamp Orcs, so I probably could have left it for a while.
Which is why you didn't pick them first.
They've just never once appealed to me, and I really like hitting strong with the summoner, but the fact that that's a lot of times the only thing you're attacking with is just way too passive for me, and way too, there's not enough surprises springing out from the sides, or the fact that you can't even really use some of your units to attack is counterintuitive to me, and it just really breaks my brain. Not for me.
When I first started playing, I like using my commons or all my units to attack. I like to keep a lean squad of like 2 to 3 units a lot of the time. They don't do that. You want to have like all your dudes out and just like have them hang out behind and grow a little swamp. I like them a little better now, but still kind of in my like mid to lower half of the factions I like. Yeah.
They are one when I go against them, I'm like on high key alert at all times, just because at any point in time you could be attacked for 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
They share that with the Obsidian Dwarves, I think, in like most explosive decks award.
Yeah. All right, over to me. We're gonna take the number 4 on my board. Made it all the way, pick number 9. I'll take that. We're in the comfort food section of my draft over here, and I wanted something spicy, something that can pack a little punch, and that is the Forge. I just really love them. I love that you can be really aggressive with them, but also kind of like controlly aggressive, which is something we kind of talked about in previous drafts. Cave Goblins can do that too, right? Where you just kind of are up on everything and suffocating all of their options, which I really like is Forged. And then also, sometimes you can't do that, and they're really clunky to be defensive, but also it kind of works. And like the more you play as them, the kind of figuring out exactly how to be defensive is like a fun little challenge for me too. So kind of like that, where I don't always know what the right move is, and to just kind of discover it in the moment is a cool feeling. So Forged, big fan. I like that ability too. The summoning ability is really strong.
Yeah, I mean, the Forged are a fun deck. They were like number 10 for me. I mean, based off Mag Cogs alone, I don't think I could have them lower than like number 10. Mag Cogs are a blast. Modular is so much fun. They're a super fun deck.
Mad Cogs are so great. I just love the like Sentry Cog kind of being like, "What's up?" Staring down anyone in its lane of "Don't come down here." I just like those guys. I don't know. They're not that good, but also they scare people away, which is fun. On to my next pick. Going straight down into the comfort food things. And this one, food that whenever it gets on the plate, everything is being touched by this pretty much. And that is gravy. And this is the High Elves. When everything is being affected by the High Elves, every game is completely different. You can have your little 2 attack guild sniper all of a sudden having 4 attack in a High Elves game, right? Like you can have all sorts of crazy stuff that happens, only can happen in High Elves games. And you know, my boy Titus out here is a big reason why. If there are no Titus lovers in this world, that means I have perished in this world. So Titus will always be there for me, and he's great. I think he's gotten a little more love since the draft, since I brought some publicity to his name, but I don't know, I might just be wishful thinking on that.
High Elves were more middle of the pack for me, but I do really enjoy them. They have some super fun plays. Aspect of that I really enjoy with the High Elves is the like combos and things you can set up with Valeria are crazy. Like every turn just has so many options based off dictate. It is wild. And you throw like an Oblige in there, and then things just get a little bit crazy, or a Liberty and things get even crazier. Every turn has so many different options.
Yeah, they have a lot of options, but I find a lot of times it's just like, well, I guess I just hang back and put a piece out and then just shoot and like,
I was gonna say though, James, you and I are some of the most aggro High Elves players, I feel like, and can get up there and use her ability for like as a threat, which I think is the fun part of them, rather than just having pieces be back there.
with like Cassia
Hmm.
healing them. I might give them a little more a chance. I started playing a couple games with them recently, and in one game the game was so long I forgot what was going on, and I ran out of gates and I couldn't summon, and I was like, ah. I had like 10 cards left in my deck and no gates. They were all gone. I was like, oh man, what did
Rough.
I do? Because I was too
Yeah.
passive. I let him destroy all my gates. So don't do that.
That's the struggle with an aggro player who trying to play passive. They don't know exactly like where to turn the dial. That happens to me too sometimes.
Back to me. These next couple decks that I might take are all like sorta equal. I'm actually going to take a deck that I play less because I never seem to do very well with them. But man, are they fun to play. And I really enjoy playing them. And that's the Isle Vekid. The Isle Vekid, just like with the Cloaks deck, you give me a summoner that can do a bunch of other things that all the common units can do, and I'm on board. I'm there for it. Throw in some fun champs, and it's just a good time. The events are great. You can do a bunch of different combos. I really enjoy this deck. I am not that good with it yet, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I kind of like playing as them, but I had the same thing as you where I'm not very good with them, and I just kind of feel like watching other people do so much better with them, and I'm not. I'm like, "Ugh, why can't I do that?"
They remind me a bit of the high elves in that way. I don't know if it's because they both have tough and strong in the deck too, or what. But and like a good range game, but you feel like you should be playing aggressively. But and obviously quite good and strong. I haven't wrapped my brain around them yet.
Yeah, they do have a good ranged game, but then when I play them, I'm like, wait, they have one ranged unit, and how do they have a good ranged game? And then it's like, well, you have your summoner, but then do you want to risk your summoner or that kind of stuff? And then, well, you don't have to, but if you have the dancer, but also that's where the like disconnect is for me. Of they can be really good at range, but also that means you have to use your summoner, which means that you are a little bit at threat there, and it doesn't click for me. I know they are really good and strong in the right hands, just not on mine.
All right, James, what you got for us?
Well, we just picked one of Nestle's favorite decks, and I'm going to pick another one. It happens to be one of mine as well. I'm going to go with the Tundra Orcs. I know I probably could have waited till pick 10, knowing you guys, but I'm picking the Tundra Orcs now because they're just good, honest summoner wars, you know? If the Wayfarers are sneaky and the Drakes and Rebellion are really fast, Tundra Orcs are not going to surprise you except with how much damage they can deal in a single turn. Between Brutal Force and For Glory, they can really just end games out of nowhere sometimes if you're not careful around them. And that constant threat makes them scary. Together with Primal Fury. I've joked about Primal Fury. It's an event that has your summoner like move forward and attack an extra time. Probably like a quarter of all Tundra Orc losses are using that event poorly, and same goes for Glory. I think it's just like you try these events out and you think, oh, I should do this, and then your board's wiped and you just get surrounded or something. I know this is not really about deck building, but they're obviously my favorite deck in deck building. So that they've got a great epic and some great stuff going on. And again, champ play is central. Old 1E habits die hard. That you can play all three of their champions or maybe two of them in a game and not feel bad about it.
Tundra Orcs are just good old fun. I definitely fall in that camp of being too aggressive with them and then being stuck, between a rock and a hard place. I don't have the aggression tile tuned to the right amount of aggression with them, but yeah, they're really fun. All their units are great. Their champions are great. I think it's just, a really fun deck.
And Aaron hates them.
I don't hate them.
Conspicuously silent.
They're fine.
If it's above your bottom 5, I would be very surprised.
It is 5th from the bottom.
You had that locked in, James.
It's okay. Bean already picked my lowest deck, so
Which one was that?
Phoenix Elves.
That's on you. That's a big mistake.
I got one more. I got a back-to-back pick. My next one is going to be the Eternal Council.
Ooh.
One time I ranted on stream saying that Edia is love because it's just fun to draw cards. Who doesn't love drawing a bunch of cards? And then when each time you draw a card, things happen. People's brains explode and she gets stronger. And then she just hits somebody for 8 dice. Citadel Advisor is probably the coolest unit around. It draws cards when it moves, and then it can warn Edia to either push her forward just for the heck of it after the text, or, hide a little bit. 2 advisors out in a turn. You can do crazy stuff. You guys are saying you like combos, but I mean, Edia has the biggest combos, I think, in terms of I'm going to play a bunch of cards, do a bunch of stuff. And there's some good payoffs for it. Like in Ovi, you can have 8 cards in your hand and he's slinging 7 dice. And then you have a good end game thing going on. The only thing that's tricky is that you can just get overconfident sometimes and get stuck. But I don't know. That's kind of a growing theme with the decks I have, I guess. So.
I was going to say, that's every one of yours right there.
Speaking of which, I think I've got 5 out of my top 7 picks right now. So I'm pretty good on those.
Nice.
That's mine. Eternal Council.
Yeah, I love Eternal Council too. They were number 11 for me. I just love them. I don't feel I'm very good with them, but they're one that I'm happy to be not very good with. And I'm okay with them. I did go undefeated in a live league season with them one time, so no big deal. But no, but just doing the combo, doing all of the crazy amount of damage, and then her not having reach, but then what you're saying with the Citadel Advisors getting a little bit more reach can just be so huge.
Eternal Council can be a lot of fun. Grabbing events from other factions can be fun. The big combos can be fun. They were more around the middle of my list, but definitely a deck that can really shine. Back to me, eh? I got a couple still in my same area, but I'm going to go with one that I think is pretty explosive. And I'm going to go with the Sand Goblins.
You're going for the literal meaning of explosive.
Yeah, literal meaning of explosive. I like the Sand Goblins. A lot of people tend to play them like either super explosive or like super passive. I think I play them somewhere in the middle. I like to use a little bit of mortars to like weaken my opponents. I like to use a little bit of burn hots. I was joking with Bean, I think it was last tournament, and saying that I had burned silts every single game that I had played in Sand Goblins for like 3 in a row. The very first turn, I almost always burn hot. Burn silts every single time.
And you just got to burn hotter.
I know. And I did win most of those games. But I was just laughing that, like, every time I was burning through silts on the very first turn. And I was like, well, here we go. But the fun thing about that deck is it doesn't really matter. Like, silts is a lot of fun, and you can do some crazy combos with silts and a great finisher. But you still have sparks in the deck, and you can almost always get sparks back unless you don't have a scav left. And so that deck has a lot of ability to be flexible. Just don't do what I did during the end of last tournament and blow things up in your own face, because that can hurt. All right, you were speaking of Eternal Council earlier. I remember one time I was playing Eternal Council in, I think it was a different tournament. I think it was a turtle tournament, and I had 8 health left on a super gate with like 3 or 4 wrench rats under it. They went for Edia to roll 8 out of 8 against my super gate, take it down, and it was next to Krusk. And I was like, this game has changed drastically. I thought I was doing pretty good, and now I don't have a super gate. I've lost all my things that were underneath it, and Krusk just took like 4 damage. I was like, this is brutal.
That type of just like, oh, this like thing being turned against you is like part of this fun. Like, oh, this this thing I was setting up is just completely exploded in my face. I do also think like what you talked about burning silts. It's like, yeah, that's a bummer, but it speaks to the Sand Goblins that you were able to win those games, right? And that this does give you this little touch of randomness when you play them, so that every single time it has to be a little bit of adapting to whatever you're given and whatever you deal with. And I think that kind of makes it fun for me too, of like, oh, well, this game I don't have XYZ. What am I going to figure out this time? Trying to like think on your feet and come up with powerful combos, because there are lots and lots of powerful combos with them. I really like them too.
I mean, I've pushed back a little bit in the past. I think on the podcast at some point, James has said that they have the best champ suite maybe in the game. And I pushed back because like Clink is an alright champ, but not like a crazy good third champ. And I used Clink in 2 or 3 of those games and was very, very effective with Clink coming out and just getting some health back, just really clawing back some of that stuff that I needed. And I needed to spend the magic on something because I had lost silts. So
it's the same stat line as Dagger, so it's not as good as Dagger, clearly, but that's just a solid stat line. The 3/6 for 4 magic.
Yeah, and to be able to heal your summoner, which is not something that can really happen in many other decks, although it seems to happen in a lot of Aaron's decks I'm looking at right now.
Only Swamp Orcs.
So far.
Isle Vecid gets tough. We'll count that. All right, over to me. Rounding out the first half of this draft. I'm going with one. I don't really think either of you guys are big fans of this, but they are my last comfort food tier pick. And this is comfort food of my favorite vegetable, Brussels sprouts. We're going with Chosen Grove out here. Big tree. It's just a fun mini game of the fact that you are severely limited, but then have this like major advantage in terms of health. I think just makes for a really interesting game, even if they do play a lot more passive than most of the decks that I enjoy. I just kind of really like the like scramble to protect yourself. It almost feels like an aggressive thing to have to kind of work around this limitation, and I really like doing that with the Chosen Grove and all of the tools that they have and the kind of the strong champs that they have too. And we talked about Sand Goblins champs. Chosen Grove's champs maybe are not as versatile as the Sand Goblins champs, but they're really powerful, right? Knight of Seasons is really, really strong. Adric is one of my favorites, and then the bear can just come out for cheap if you ever wanted. It's definitely the most situational, but yeah, I really like the Chosen Grove. I like their kind of also limited boost usage for a boosting deck, and that kind of having to work around that being a little bit lower than you would like, and that makes it more valuable too. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I mean they're more towards the bottom of my list, the bottom middle, but they are a really fun deck, and there's some aspects I really like. They have one of my favorite champs, Night of Seasons, so much fun. Sometimes it's a little frustrating when you can't move your tree. I've had a couple times recently where I've just gotten the snot beat out of me because I got a spot taken and I couldn't take it back. I didn't draw like an early uproot or autumn. Even discarded some cards. I know it's hard to believe, but I didn't find one, and that can make it difficult sometimes. I think one of them was against like Vargrath, so there's a lot of beef there trying to stare you down. And that part is the part of Tree that I don't love playing all the time, but it is a fun deck.
In our tournament game, Aaron, with Swamp Orcs just kind of walloping on the tree, and
Yep.
that was the first time I had ever played that matchup, and just realizing like, oh, this is scary.
Yeah.
It doesn't come up as much with most matchups with the tree, but it can definitely come up sometimes.
Eden would be proud of you, Bean. Eden would be proud.
I'll take it. Yeah. Little halfway point recap here.
Yeah, go for it.
We got Team James, aka Team These Summoners Are in My Grill. We got the Wayfarers, Obsidian Dwarves, Drake Sun Rebellion, Tundra Orcs, and Eternal Council. We got Team Aaron, which is Healy Summoners that are also a guy stolen from Bean's list. We got the Vargas, the Globes, the Swamp Orcs, the Alekid, and the Sand Goblins. And then we got my team, Team Scrappy Underdogs. We got the Phoenix Elves, the Cave Goblins, the Forge, the High Elves, and Chosen Grove.
And now you got one more pick before we go back to Aaron.
One more pick, and this might surprise you guys. This is one that is not a Scrappy Underdog. This is the Filth.
Oh, I was going to pick him next. I
really like them. I don't like playing them as much because I do feel like sometimes it's a kind of frustrating for opponents to play against, but I really like them. I like that they have different tools for different matchups and how versatile they can be, and they're not at the power level that I feel really bad about playing them, which would be like old Deepwood Grogs kind of power level. They're strong, but also can be beaten. Like I just got beaten yesterday or the other day with them against Sand Goblins and stuff. I just like that they have all these really powerful abilities that can come out of things, and the fact that they can really punish opponents if they get too greedy or they don't finish off something. I think it's really fun to do, and of course Abomination is awesome. Really cool.
Super fun deck. Abomination's a fantastic champ. A lot of fun. The mutants are all super fun. Again, a deck maybe that I haven't really figured out. I keep losing with them, but they're a lot of fun to play. I really enjoy a lot of aspects of that deck.
Filth are fun. I took them to the tournament. They're kind of in the middle of my list, which is about where we are now, I guess. So.
Oh, my top 10 is gone now.
I've still got some of my... maybe I just like stuff that you guys don't. But no, Filth are cool. I do like the flexibility that they've got, and they always seem to have a tool for every situation, which is cool.
Back to me. I have one left in my top 10. You said your top 10 is basically gone. I have one left. I know it's not going to be a popular pick, but I really love them. I really love them. And this could be many decks because you guys don't like all the same decks that I do, but this is going to be the Crimson Order. They are not a favorite of the community. Some people like them, some people don't. But I like playing as them. I like playing against them. I love the aspects of like their recursion, and I like getting like Casimir out and getting Vesna and even Sekhmet sometimes. All three champs are fun. I like the aspect of I don't have to discard cards. That's really fun for me. Playing as them or against them, just not having to discard a whole lot. Allows you to play almost every card in your deck. And I think that's a great time.
They are my least favorite deck to play. I don't mind playing against them because I've just kind of learned to live with them. But I mean, you know me, I like to play a quick game, and they're not a quick game.
That's true.
You're looking at least 20 turns probably of just grinding it out. I'll forget what's going on by the time the game's over. So
I was going to say the same thing, James, where they are my 30th ranked deck, and it is because they make those games just so long. That's just not my jam for Summoner Wars. I do kind of like going against them because I've figured out how to do that at this point, but Playing as them, I've probably played like less than 10 games as them because I just don't like
Yeah,
those type.
and sometimes you have to for league or whatever, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of where they're at for me. I understand why Aaron likes them, and I understand why people do like them, and they have great art. I remember like when they first came out, them and Mountain Vargas. I was like, these are some cool freaking factions. Not my favorite to play. This one.
enjoy.
So it goes back around to me. I get 2 in a row. I'm gonna pick some oldies but goodies. First up, we got, if we talk about all my factions having summoners way in the front, this one is not one of those. The Savannah Elves.
Thought you were going there.
Yeah, I mean the other one's kind of similar, but we'll get to that in a minute. But like Savannah Elves, it's a good introduction to just like how to use boosts and how that mechanic works. I think is like a really good description of that mechanic and how it works. And talking about explosive combos, it still has it. You get the ability to like entangle a border archer with any of your other commons and chant a power up something and sling like 16 dice in a turn. It feels pretty cool and it's good. And their champions are good aside from the one who is a tree.
Which one's it?
I think it's Eldiri Nimid, right?
Yeah, Eldiri Nimid. You don't talk about the Chosen Grove that way.
No, it's Meaty Mumway. He's just a little expensive, and like unfortunately, he probably won't get changed because the Savannah Elves are good. They're not going to be like, oh, we need to buff these guys. So probably just going to be there, this weird vestigial organ in the deck. My next one is the one that I once said was the coolest deck in Summoner Wars 2nd Edition. It was the first one I played a lot actually after the Cave Goblins, and that's the Polar Dwarves.
Ooh, that was pretty high
Coming
on my
up for
list.
you.
Yeah.
When you just look mechanically, I think they're very unique. There are certain factions like Cave Goblins and Mountain Vargheth basically remained unchanged from first edition and are just really cool designs, I think. But Polar Dwarves are one that is kind of unique to second edition because we have more structures and stuff like that, and just being able to move the structures around and the parapets and everything. It's a fun little puzzle. A lot of my decks can kind of falter in the end game, but Polar Dwarves I feel like have a pretty strong end game where they can just move the structures around to protect themselves and maybe get a parapet out or do other stuff, and they just kind of have they're fun. Definitely not my style compared to if you look at the rest of these decks, but they're one of my favorites, or at least in my top 10 or so as far as cool.
Yeah, I think my first kind of like when getting the master set and then playing with all those, the fact that you could completely shift the battlefield, which no one else could do at that point, was just like such a cool aspect of that, and being like, oh, this game is not just people running at each other, blah, blah, blah. It's also thinking ahead and planning your structures and all this kind of stuff. Polar Dwarfs kind of unlock that ability just because of their ability is really cool. To me, they're just a little too slow and weak, but I do enjoy that aspect of kind of the puzzle block structure of it and moving stuff around. But yeah, I just feel like they're kind of not very powerful. They're not one of my faves.
And I disagree on the power level, but
I mean, Frost Mages are good.
yeah, I mean, I think they have some really fun champs. They sort of will just whittle you down, and you can just play a long game and econ if you want, which is one of the ways that I really like to play. So that's one of the reasons I like them, is like if you just want to stay back and build your fortress and Jarmund people and do some ice shards. And then I like the combo aspect, Ice Ram and Shift, and some of that aspect I think is really fun as well. They're definitely a deck that doesn't surprise people really, because besides Ice Ram Shift, they don't have a whole lot that can really surprise anybody. Even like their Ice Axes are pretty telegraphed, but I do enjoy them. They're a fun deck. Back to me. I'm going to skip a couple on my list because I don't think you guys will pick them even if you have to.
Oh, the meta games.
Yeah, I'm going to drop down just a couple, and I'm going to pick one that I think might end up on either of your guys' lists if you had the chance, and that's the Shimmer Sea Fae.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I think the Shimmer Sea Fae is a super fun deck. They have a lot of combos, which I really enjoy. They have some interesting play with their summoner. You can really get up close and personal, or you can like sit back and kind of just try and wait your opponent out. Again, a deck that I'm not the best with, and maybe that's a bit on power level, but I don't know. Exile crushes people with the Shimmer Sea Fae, so I think it's more me than power level, but I do enjoy playing them. They are a fun deck, and they have a lot of really cool combos, whether it's swarms or the champs or just doing some spearhead stuff. I like the summoning in the attack phase, and if you get a gate out there, it can be a lot of fun. But yeah, a really fun deck.
Yeah, they definitely have some really great combos and can be really fun to play. I like them. They are definitely walking uphill sometimes with your units being as frail as they are, or just kind of, but when you can get it to work, they feel really, really strong and really unpredictable, which is one of the best things about the game, I feel like. So yeah, they were coming up for me. Guess that's a good pick by you, Aaron. All right, we're gonna go to my last of the kind of mid tier that I've made for myself. Last of the upper mid tier, and this is the great unknown for me, where I feel like I know nothing and I am having fun figuring them out, and that is the Guild Dwarfs. Figuring out, okay, is this the right move? I don't know, let's try it. And then doing something and it kind of works, and you're like, okay, maybe I'll do that next time. And then the next time it does not work at all, and you're like, all right, we're going on. Figuring out this. Like, maybe I'm going to use the tower this time. Maybe I'm going to use Grundor to build diagonal, all this kind of like really interesting stuff that they have, and they can put together some combo stuff. It can be really difficult, but I don't know if you guys have been able to figure this out at this point, but I like the difficult aspect and like overcoming these limitations that are a challenge a lot of the time, and figuring out how to make that mitigated is one of the fun parts of this game. So I really like the Guild Dwarves. They are just still so new to me that I don't really know enough about them, even though I feel like I've played them a lot, but I still feel like I don't really know what's going on a lot of the time.
I mean, they have some fun combos. Battling Rams are a lot of fun. They're more towards like the middle of my list. I think I gravitate a little more towards the Drake Sun, which might be weird because I'm not as aggressive as like you guys are out of the two new decks. But yeah, they're a fun deck for sure.
All right, we are moving to my last pick in the top half of my rankings here. This is my number 14 deck, the one where I can't help myself and I get myself into trouble a lot, and that is the Storm Goblins. Where I just want to make the cool chain. That's what I try to do every turn, and it bites me in the butt every single time when I do it too much and then I leave myself exposed, but it's just so satisfying to put that chain, do a little dinkage to everybody. I really like it, and I want them to be more aggressive than they are, but it's challenging to do that. And so I like playing as them, but I'm definitely not the best with them, but I do like playing as them a lot, and they are one of my upper half decks. But yeah, I really like a lot of the combo stuff that they have, the overcharge and recharge and all sorts of fun stuff.
The only reason they're not higher for me than they are is that they make the movement phase so tricky and clunky. For me, like I like an easy breezy movement phase, if that makes any sense. And when you have to like stop and be like, wait a minute, did I jump this guy up or volt swap or whatever? And I'm just like, you know what? This is too much.
James is like, you know what? Electrocute.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I really like them. I think they're a lot of fun. I think they have some of the combo aspects that I really enjoy. Ezek's a great time. I think that what James doesn't like in the movement phase is part of what I really like with them, because I'm like, there's got to be a way to get this Vault Swapper here. How do I do that? Okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and forth in the movement phase like a bunch, just trying to figure out, well, if I use the free move here and I do this one here and then I swap at this point, then I think they're a lot of fun. They were one of the next decks coming up for me.
Yeah, my average movement phase is like 30 seconds.
Modular and the Magcog and all that kind of stuff. I could just spend a long time trying to like piece out all the little potential movements and turns and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah, I like doing that with the Volt Swap too, and just figuring out, okay, I can reach there, but is that the best? Let me try it this way. Wait, how did I do it the first way again? And like forgetting.
Back to me. I'm going to go... I don't actually know really how you guys feel about this faction. I don't think you like it a whole lot, but I'm going to go for it because I enjoy them a fair amount, towards the exact middle of my list, but we're going to go with the Deepwood Groaks.
Interesting.
I think the Deepwood Groaks are a lot of fun. They have some fun champs. They got some fun commons. I really like brewing potions, and not all the potions are created equal, but that's okay. Swift Potion, a lot of fun. Strong Potion, ton of fun. Wither Potion, good most of the time. Poison Potion, good occasionally. And It's just a fun time getting 5 boosts on a potion, though, and then keeping it going with like a Mystic. I just really enjoy this deck. You can do some combos with Swift Potion and shooting down the same lane, or like you can get some Wardens out and protect, or I like using Wardens just to build boosts. Sometimes not always even the best move, but a lot of boosts is sometimes feels like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like Deeper Grokes. I still have some scar tissue from when they were way too strong. So
Yeah.
I don't play them as much because back then I never played them because I didn't like those types of games. But yeah, I like them now. I feel like they are at a good level and they do have interesting plays with Swift Potion, with all the potions, with all the champs and this kind of stuff.
One time I picked them randomly, and I think it was you that DM'd me. Like, why'd you pick these guys? Not you too, Jexic? Or maybe it was either you or Bazo or somebody was like, why are you picking these guys? And I was
Yeah.
like, I just did it randomly. I'm just doing all random. They're definitely unique. I like that the Seer is a very unique kind of unit, and the potion mechanic is pretty cool. Again, like they tend to like to have a longer game.
You love a longer game. We get it. Every faction on your list says longer games. That's what it is.
That's my real secret. I don't think I actually spend more time playing than a lot of other people, but my games tend to be 10 to 12 turns instead of 30 or 40. So,
Yeah.
and by 10 to 12, I mean that's both players.
So you're saying that I've spent the most time playing Summoner Wars.
Maybe. Or he said I called him on a podcast recently, but it could be somebody like Lord Funkadelic who has a ton of CO games.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, goodness. That would be such a drag.
But he likes it. I don't know. To each his own, you know?
I'm glad there are other people who like that.
And that's what I think is great. You know, we talk about this. We got 30 factions now. There's something for everybody, or 10 things for everybody. You know, like there's great variety, and I think that that's just a testament to how it's come out. Speaking of my next pick, and things being easy and also breezy, I'm gonna go with the Sky Spear Avians.
I figured somebody was going to take them at some point.
They're actually only like 12th on my list and my 8th pick, so I think I'm doing pretty well so far.
Yeah, that's great. They're down on my list, but
But yeah, no, I'm not the best with them, but I do enjoy how they work. I remember when they first came out, I liked the cloaks better, so I didn't get to play them as much because I kept focusing on the cloaks. But they're really cool, and they've got like that flock mechanic and like the moving together as a unit, and like they have extra gates, and they just kind of have a cool flow to them. And you always got to watch out for Sky Soul, and it's a very important card. And they're up there with the Mountain Vargath, I think, in terms of like decks that tend to seem to have a pretty even matchup spread. You know, they can stand toe to toe with a lot of good decks. It seems like maybe not dominating too many of them, but they're cool.
Yeah, I've always respected them from afar, but they've never been my type of thing. But I do really like the mechanic. I like the flight and the fact that they just have this like major strength over everything of being able to fly and move extra and all this kind of stuff. And when I first started playing, I would just immediately dive bomb with them every single time, and that was fun. You start to realize that that's maybe not the best move, but it is really fun.
Someone did that to me just today. They had both their Sky Assaults in the first like 12 cards, and I just died. I was like, ah. It can still happen. I was playing Eternal Council when that happened, and like I stole Sky Assault. I was like, great. I love this for me. I stole Sky Assault. Great.
all your units fly. What are you talking about?
So my next one, combining the two factions I just talked about, sort of, we're going to have a Resolve Air faction in the Breakers. Again, we're getting kind of like towards the middle of my list. It isn't a faction most people would think would associate with me, but I think they've got style to them. And in terms of design, like when it comes to the Resolve factions, they control some aspect of the game. And then in their case, it's they control the movement and forcing of other stuff, like with the wind. So they have like some very unique events and stuff like Perplexing Tempest and Blast, and the ability to just get things stuck and then push them away if they want. They've also evolved over time in the way I think people play them. You know, we had Water D on the podcast ages ago, and he prescribed a very specific style of play the way he does. But now we have Dead Sands coming around, playing them probably more aggressive than even I would. It's just neat to see them kind of evolve and play in different ways. Be a flexible, cool faction.
I do think they're fun, and also the fact that Mind Witches can be different every single game is like a cool mini game inside of the game that I think is just a fun time.
Like they're really good against Shadow Elves for that reason. You know, like you can copy Seekers and just be a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, breakers are towards the bottom of my list, but they definitely have some fun aspects. I don't know. I never really gelled with them. I think I play them all right nowadays, but and I don't know. All the range dice, maybe that
Yeah,
scares me. I don't know.
I call them heartbreakers for a reason, and those range
Well,
dice will get you.
I mean, you can see it with mine, some of my like range dice on summoners and some of my earlier picks, so I'm not no stranger to it, I guess. So big range dice on summoners with like the Eternal Console and Drake Sun and or not Drake Sun, but Wayfarers and stuff. So OD.
Yeah,
hmm
pretty much all yours are almost all of them Drake's on, but they are kind of arranged with the champ and
Yeah, Tundra Orcs, big range dice there.
only one.
I mean, they have some fun aspects. Mind control is always a cool event when you get to take control of the opponent's units.
I've had a few games as the Drakes on Rebellion where I forget that mind control exists and then get like my own raised Lord Slayer coming back at me with 6 dice.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel great, but it's funny.
Back to me, second to last
There are a
pick.
few of your favorites left, Aaron. I wonder if you're gonna get them.
Yeah, I wonder which factions I'm taking. These are actually fairly accurate to where they had them, but I'm going to go with the Fungal Dwarfs. They were like my 15th. And that might surprise some people because I have been known as the Fungal Dwarf guy. But I've fallen a little out of favor with them. I still enjoy them a fair amount. They struggle in a lot of aspects, and sometimes when that engine isn't clicking, they can be frustrating to play at times. I feel like if you get a whiff as Fungal Dwarves, it might hurt you more than almost any other faction. Like if you get like an early convert you're missing as a beast and to get like that carrier that you need, man, that hurts. Stuff like that makes it a little bit less than ideal for me to play Fungal Dwarves nowadays. And so they've slowly dwindled down my list a bit. I still do enjoy them quite a bit though, and some of their combos can be really fun. Growing out the mushrooms is always a good time, and if you get a Thune or Monstrosity out, then that can be a blast.
It scratches the Pokemon evolution itch.
Yep. And I know this was top of James' list too, so I knew that it was coming up.
Yeah. James, would you have them? Did you have them 29?
Let me take a look. I think they were definitely above. They were 29th. Yep.
Nice.
And I think Aaron's last pick is my 28th one. So
Nice. I got
Yeah.
your last 3 factions. Unless Bean wants them.
The funny thing is, I realize I'm actually not going to pick the last faction. I just get what you guys leave me, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you what number it was when I get it, whatever it is.
Aaron, you have my least favorite, my second least favorite. You're going to get my third least favorite, and you just dropped it my fourth least favorite.
Nice. I mean, I'm checking all the boxes. I mean, I don't have a single faction on my list that I dislike. And I think the one that I'm going to end up with probably is one that I don't dislike either. It's a little lower for me. I think it's 17th or 18th. But all my factions are in like the top half, basically.
Well, that's what happens when you rig the randomizer to get
To get second place.
You knew what you were doing. All right, over to me. My pick here. We're getting to the part where these are factions I kind of like, but rarely play. And this is the Shadow Elves, is what I'm picking here. And I wrote down that I have fun playing with them, but it kind of hurts my soul when I play with them. They're just not the types of games that I like. They're so passive and can be a little bit, but then also they can get really aggressive. And when I try doing with that, it can be really fun, but also it doesn't seem like it's like totally made to be there, or at least to do that with your summoner without protecting it. And I'm not very good at protecting it, so I like them. I like their combos and that kind of stuff, but they are not one of my absolute favorites. I got them ranked at 19th on my board. Shadow Elves, James's favorite deck as well.
I have them 9th from the bottom, so like 21st, 22nd.
Yeah.
Well, who are you going to leave James with, Bean? Who are you going to leave James with?
I will be going with the Spectral Conclave.
I figured as much.
Got the one that is really cool when other people play them, and then I try playing them and they're kind of bland. So That's my take on them. They are really, really threatening when they go against me, and then I play them, and I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes too. Like these guys hit like paper, but then you see some Dead Sands replay and he just like smokes people. So I don't know.
Yeah. James, I feel like we're aligned where we kind of just like having a small little pack of units, and then we've overcome that with cave goblins because we know how to do that. But then other factions where you're supposed to swarm, we're not like adapted to that. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking for you.
That kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense.
I just need this one unit, and then it's a super weak unit that will fade away if you walk up to it.
I don't love the depart ability. I like playing against them, I think, even less. They make my brain hurt when I have to play defense with the Spectral Conclave, and I'm like, okay, if he departs this one, and then this one. I just played Massimo with these guys, and I barely eked out a win. I made some mistakes, but it was... my brain hurts so much from that game. I don't want to think about it anymore.
Yeah, and what you're saying with they're so hard to play against for some factions, that is the thing that I like don't like playing when if I just randomly queue into
Spectral Conclave versus Vanguards or something.
yeah, or fungal dwarves or something. I feel bad for the other person. I don't want that to be the case, and they have those types of matchups with because of that ability.
Yep. Back to me, and we all know what I'm going to take. I'm taking the Vanguards. No, I'm just kidding. I'm taking the Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom are a deck that I started out when I was playing Summoner Wars loving. I love the combos. I love a lot of different aspects of the deck. They've changed a little bit with different iterations and different errata. That's not why I've fallen out of favor of the deck, but I just feel like when I come back to them after having not played them in that long, that, I don't know, their weaknesses and inability in some aspects shine brighter than I remember. When I play some factions against them or different aspects, it's a struggle. And I do like infections with carriers, and Purge is one of my favorite events. One of my favorite maybe in the game, but one of my favorite in that deck for sure. And so I love doing big purge turns with archers and hopping all over the place. I have started playing the champs a bit more, and that can be fun as well. Gul'das is a fun champ to play at the moment. But I don't get the same feel from them as I did when I was growing up, you know? All of like 3 years ago.
Yeah, they were one of the original for me of I don't really know how to make this work, how to figure it out, and I tried and tried to try and like figure it out, and it was just not for me. But I like playing against them too. They're not bad in that way. They're not for me really. James loves them.
He does. He does.
No, I said before, I think they're third from my bottom. You take all of Aaron's criticisms and then add that I actually really dislike the Purge event and find it incredibly counterintuitive. If I went into a live tournament and I was a new player and someone did the Purge shenanigans the way it works in the app, I would probably quit Summoner Wars.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'd be like, this does what now? And that's how it works? I was like, no.
It is maybe the most counterintuitive of all the factions, like the way that everything works out.
Yeah, it definitely is. And definitely something that they should maybe fix at some point. But they've done so many changes to Fallen Kingdom. I don't think they're going to do anything with it.
The thing I'm specifically talking about is that, like, so Purge, you click on a guy and it'll remove it at the end of the Purge event, and then it does the 2 damage right away to something next to it. So if you Purge to kill your own unit, the damage actually removes that unit right away, and then with a Skeletal Archer, you can jump into that spot. I find this incredibly counterintuitive, and it doesn't make sense to me, and I don't even do it, even though I know that how it works now, because it just seems weird. I don't know. It is what it is. Back to me. I have the Vanguards. I was forced to take the Vanguards, but they were actually 20th on my list, so I didn't take any of my bottom 10 factions.
Nice.
Must be nice.
Vanguards are, the classic good guys. So like my draft is bookended by who I think should be the main character in Summoner Wars and the Wayfarers, and then who Colby, the designer, thinks should be the heroes of the game and the Vanguards, your goody two-shoe knights. They're very simple, straightforward. Renewed Hope is one of the coolest events in the game and has had lots of good uses in deck building. It's not all boring, I guess, they're pretty fun. I think I've played them in a couple of the tournaments, like when they first got buffed, just to try it out. They're not one of my least favorite decks, but definitely there's other things I like more. One of my more difficult decks to face, just randomly, for like I feel like Wayfarers and Drake's Sun Rebellion struggle going into Vanguards actually, despite them having a lower reputation, just because like they can do Renewed Hope when you're like in their face and they have a bunch of Citadel Knights and suddenly you can't finish the job. Same for like Skyspear Avians. I think it's one of the worst matchups for Skyspear Avians is into Vanguards.
All the extra movement kind of tough to do when there's engage all over the place too. I kind of like Vanguards, but they are definitely low on my list. So I like the new version of them definitely a lot more than the original, but they're just so strategy used to be so one-dimensional, and now it's like 1.5 dimensional, and it's not enough for me personally.
Yeah, they're bottom 4 for me. 4th from the bottom. I don't love the Vanguards. They're a bit vanilla, but they do occasionally have some cool combos with Renew Hope. And I think what I like the least about them is that they're so reliant on like Sarah attacking all the time. And I don't always love having that strategy, and sometimes that strategy can't really work against certain factions. You do that against like a Swamp Orcs, and they're just going to destroy you, which is rough because like Sarah needs to attack, but also Mug attacks way harder. Different matchups like that and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't love with Vanguards.
Not a lot of Vanguard love on this podcast, unfortunately, but people are getting it out in the Discord.
Yeah, I've been seeing them a lot lately. They're kind of having a little renaissance, I think, in part because of their changes. I was just talking to Pursward, and he's been playing them and enjoying them. He plays them kind of similar to how he plays Phoenix Elves, and that it's like an aggressive, in-your-face kind of Vanguards. I think that's kind of the way a lot of people seem to be playing them lately, is like you get 10 magic and like Renewed Hope and just summon champions and stuff in front of people. Interestingly, I saw a game he played recently where he didn't even play Colleen. He just played Valna and the new Jacob, and it worked quite well. Yeah, like you're saying, they're maybe a little less one-dimensional than they used to be, but it's still maybe 1.5 dimensional. So
People are doing that kind of the Chibata strategy of just like discard everything for the first couple turns, and then you have a ton of magic and tempo and that kind of stuff with them. And they're good with that because they have Renewed Hope, but I think you could do that with a lot of other factions too, just people never do because they like their units more. Aaron would never ever do that. Too precious.
You never know. You never know. Weirder things have happened. But we want to do one final recap of the list.
We got Team James. We got the Wayfarers, Obsidian Dwarves, Drake's Sun, Rebellion, Tundra Orcs, Eternal Council, Savannah Elves, Polar Dwarves, Skyspear Avians, Breakers, and Vanguard. A lot of the oldies on there, James.
yeah.
He's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah. A little sentimentality. We got Aaron with the Vargath, the Cloaks, Swamp Orcs, Isle Vekid, Sand Goblins, Crimson Order, Shimmer Sea Fae, Deepwood Groaks, Fungal Dwarves, and Fallen Kingdom. I notice you have pretty much every deck that people have complained about in the Discord. And then we got my team entirely full of decks that everyone loves. We have Phoenix Elves, Cave Goblins, The Forged, High Elves, Chosen Grove, Filth, Guild Dwarves, Storm Goblins, Shadow Elves, and Spectral Conclave.
Yeah, Filth and Spectral Conclave. Those decks have never been complained about in the Discord. Not once.
Nah, or Storm Goblins, definitely not.
When it comes to the voting, we got to vote for me, the people's champion.
I mean, I think you've probably won the most.
No, it was me, guys. I've won every single time.
And you were saying I have all these old factions. I have one of the two newest in the Drake's Sun Rebellion.
And no other faction newer than Wayfarers.
Wave 3. Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of old balls and then one kid is what you got.
Yeah. James is a get off my lawn kind of list.
And then he'll chase you off with a dragon or a Celeste.
Yeah. Let us know whose list you like the best. We'll put out a poll. And then let us know. You can't tell us if we picked things wrong because we picked every faction. So can't do it. We did it right. Every faction got picked.
Honorable mention, Circus Goblins.
Yeah, Circus Goblins for sure.
My honorable mention is going to be squirrels because they're squirrels, man.
The Dre.
Yeah.
Honorable mention, Wolves. I mean, Werewolves can be. So many good decks coming out. But let us know if you thought we waited too long to pick the Vanguards or your favorite deck and what you thought. This has been another episode of Discard for Magic, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.